There we go. How's that then? I forgot to turn on the noise. I'm going to bring the noise.
Well, I'm Pryler.
I'm
So-
Jacob.
I'm Sim.
Because
Just reintroducing ourselves because
Yeah.
of yeah.
I didn't turn on
Yeah,
the
about
sound.
that.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh boy. All right, so we're gonna play some. We're gonna play some D&D, and you're all commoners. We discussed that during our character creation. Everybody is just you're just commoners, and that's cool. You're not gonna be commoners for long, probably.
Hopefully.
Such just the way of D&D.
We're
Yeah.
in common commoners.
Let me see some things to know. All right, so oh man, I had some things to know. I had quite the day. My brain's not quite bam. That's the word, bam. My brain's not quite bam.
Just drink some more coffee. It'll get there.
I'm working
Right.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like the mug.
geared up.
Thank you. Yeah. This is just one of them. I got 2 cups of coffee going. This
Got my coffee in mellow yellow. I'm
was a
set for
gift
little
from
bit.
my daughter. She gets me.
Well, those is just
All right, so so you're all commoners. You're all in the town of Folsom, which is a nice little fishing town.
I had a rat problem.
It had a rat problem. Yeah, briefly, let's just re-describe our characters very briefly because we'll get into that more as we go along. Let's start with Cheegan. I'm going to just go across the bottom row there.
all right. Zed is a Eldritch Knight fighter, and currently he works as a guard in the city. And that's about all I got so far.
Cool, yeah. And Sim?
So for Zoe, Saoirse, I'm a Lightfoot halfling. Full Caro, I'm going to be a ranger eventually at some point to help defend my people.
Ranger in training.
Yes.
Kale?
Posey is tall, intimidating, and nervous about her magic.
Tall, intimidating, nervous about her magic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's was one of your parents okay with you? Like more okay
yeah.
than the other? Which one? Your mother was more, or was
We'll
it
say
your
Dad.
father? Okay. Pryler.
Yeah. I'm Pip, and I am a gnome commoner because I'm not anything yet, but I have a knack for nature-y things,
Yeah.
Very
and
cool.
I have a pet rat as well. So I'm a little gnome.
And the rat's name was Squeak, right?
That is correct.
That's the Pip Squeak. And so you had been like there was a druid you said that had kind of like was showing you stuff, like taking you under their wing or something.
Yar
Yeah. and
is
you're-
a wood elf, I believe. Is what we discussed.
Cool. And you're a rat catcher. What do you do with the rats that you catch?
Here.
I kind of am a, I guess you would say a humane rat catcher. Catches them live and relocates them into the woods instead of, just killing them. So, those have a heart traps, I would use those.
Right. And so you just like release them into the woods like they have their own little rat community, right?
Yep,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
little rat village. and I'm not a hippie,
Not.
despite what some people say.
Does anyone call you a hippie? Do you think? Is anyone just like you're a hippie?
Uh, no, but like when I was creating the character, someone posted, like a little garden gnome,
Mm-hmm.
and it had like the tie dye just all in it. It was like hippie gnome, and just as I was creating my character, and I was just like, ugh. They were joking that I should make it a
That was
the
me.
placeholder or like my little name or little token. I was like, no. But yeah,
Cool.
but yeah, Pip, I haven't actually set uh, on what my real name is quite yet. Pip is
Mhm.
more of a what people have called me, be it from Pipsqueak to just shortened to Pip. Kind of a little runt of a gnome, if you will.
Cool.
Yep.
Question for folks in the chat. This is the first time I'm using Zoom. I haven't had a chance to test it. How does everybody sound? Is everybody sounding okay? Because I honestly don't know. Like some of you sound like a little low, but that could
You know
just
what?
be my headphones here.
I'll tell you what. You're not cutting out at all, and you
All right.
cut out a lot in Discord, which is really annoying when you're trying to do the story, and I'm trying to listen, and then some of the words I have to piece it together and make up what you said.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I decided to go with Zoom.
Yeah, I'm hearing everybody fine.
Good, good. Yeah, Zoom came very highly recommended, and I was like, you know what, man, let's do it. Let's Zoom.
Zoom.
I put the picture in chat for you, Pray.
Everything sounded great so far.
Good. Okay. All right. So yeah. So you guys are all in or around the town of Folsom. It's spring. Local farms have begun summer planting. The fishing boats are preparing for the upcoming season. Things are starting to warm up. All the townsfolk are getting out and instead of just doing their chores and trying to get someplace warm, they're actually enjoying themselves. Even though there has been some bad news, like recently, there's been all sorts of like rumors from places to the south. Especially there was a city called Alton Ray that was mysteriously destroyed. There was talk that a bunch of people came in with a whole bunch of weird, strange creatures and basically just decimated the city guard as they were approaching the temple at the center of the city. And once they got there, there was a big fight. A couple of gods showed up to try to stop them from. This is what people are talking about. And these gods got their asses kicked and possibly dead. And then the temple exploded and took out most of the city with it. So people are talking about that. That's like hundreds of miles from here, but people are talking about it. It's definitely something people are talking about. There is, as we discussed briefly, there is a major religion known as the Church of the Faith. And so they've been they've been kind of worked up about the events like all the way to the south a little bit. They're also really disturbed about this other group calling themselves the University, who have taken up residence in the old Folsom Keep right across the river from the town proper. Like you can see it from almost any part of the town. There's like a small river and like you guys can see this keep. It was run down and abandoned for quite a while. And they seem to be restoring it and like setting stuff up. The church has been warning people in town not to associate themselves with these people. They're considered just short of heretics. Chiana, please. I'm narrating. Oh, poor doggy.
The cutie.
They've made all sorts of offers to to folk in town to hey, you want to come get some work? We'll pay you some good money. And not many of them have taken them up on the offer, but a lot of dwarves from the nearby mountains have been there helping put together the rebuilding. There's a man named Jacob D. He dresses in a white shirt, pants, and jacket. He's been going in and out of the church and town hall. He seems to be the head of this university project going on, and he's been kind of seen here and about, and people, don't really like him. Like when he goes into the church, everyone seems to be like very sour-faced about that. I mean, they haven't like flat out kicked him out. Same thing with town hall. When he shows up at town hall, people are like, "Oh, geez, here he comes again," and they, defer to him a little, but they're kind of, they don't really like him all that much. They think he's a troublemaker, maybe. What else has been going on in town?
I have cut out for a bit and had to recommit. I missed part of it, sorry.
Jacob D. seems to be the person in charge of the university, and he's been going about town, especially to the town hall and the church, and they seem to dislike him greatly.
Oh.
In other news, Tom and Prithara Mirahorn had a baby over the winter named Rhaenyra. And mostly people are talking about this a lot because shortly after the birth, this guy Jacob D came to visit. He had some gifts and he wanted to see the baby, and the couple refused. They were just like, "Nope, please go away." He didn't seem to push the issue. He left the gifts as he went away. And some people have reported that people associated with the university have been lurking around the Mirahorn home, and occasionally they've even been warned off. You guys have also seen this Jacob D guy a couple of times here and there. Posey, he was speaking with your father outside of the family home, and a couple times in town. Your father appears to not want to talk to him whatsoever. Like he just, he's trying to talk to your father, and your father wants nothing to do with him, just keeps walking away. Zed, you've seen him speaking with Niall McLaughlin, the sergeant of the town guard, on more than a few occasions. And Niall has told you that he, a couple of times he asked about you. Nothing specific, and Niall didn't want to really tell him anything because, again, this guy's kind of strange. But he has asked about you.
Uh-huh.
Pip, you've seen this guy a couple of times, and, he smiles at you when he sees you and just keeps going about his business. He's seen at least one time when you took one of those living rats away from the town. The following day, the town increased your rat catcher pay from a copper piece a day to a gold piece a day. Yeah, the very next day. And Zoe, you've seen him on a few occasions when he's been in the area. You've spotted him in the woods when you've been hunting or tracking, like practicing your craft.
I'm rich.
You definitely probably feel rich.
Yeah.
I don't know
Do
if
I
you're
notice
losing
him
that
doing
money
anything
yet.
odd? Do I notice him doing anything odd while he's out there?
No, you've just seen him about, like you've just been like hunting through the woods or whatever, or tracking, and you'll see him kind of just off in the distance, like sometimes he's looking at the sky, sometimes he's looking at you, and he just kind of smiles and nods and goes about his business. Now, it'd probably be a good idea if some of you knew each other, even in passing. Chiana. Even in passing, like, if you want to try to work out some sort of, like, I know you. Except for possibly Posey. Posey, have you been getting out lately?
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
So I would probably know Zoe and Pipsqueak having worked as a guard.
I'd just be that little person that goes around town getting the rats, man. I mean, you might not notice me. I'm very small and
I can assume I've probably seen him and I know of him.
I was gonna say,
Sure.
even if you're kept in your house, perhaps you've had a rat problem, or someone in your house, or in the house next to you, or something. And
Hmm.
I get into things, so I probably broke into
And you're
someone's house
small
before.
and you
And
probably
yeah,
smell bad.
I don't smell bad. Okay, maybe I do. I mean, I do have a rat that like lives like in my clothes, so
I imagine you smell like sour grain.
I don't even know what that smells like, but it doesn't sound good.
What does sour grain smell like?
Just like I don't know, have you ever smelled like flour that's gone off, which is rotten grain? I don't know. It
Yeah.
smells
It makes
specifically
it. Like,
bad.
You know, I'm.
I would think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would think like maybe like the smell of. For some reason, I like horse stables in my head,
Yes, but
kind of like that.
less pooey.
Yes, less more of the what is it?
Hay.
The straw and hay. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Oh, so like
Yeah,
wet
Smell like
hay.
wet hay and mildew. Nice.
I'm thinking
Oh.
like dive
No,
bar,
no.
like that old sour beer stale.
I like dive bar smell.
Me too. But I mean, it's definitely. I think that's probably what I think of when I think of like
Thing is, you never see me smoking ever. I just slightly smell of it every once in a while.
Guys, I'll be a rabbit.
But yeah, so like, I think maybe nobody really knows me, but they know of me.
The one dude with rats.
Yeah, unless they're really would
Sorry
be
about that.
unless their character would be interested in some really stealthy rat catcher that doesn't smell all that great, though has fabulous hair.
the fine stench of toilet wine game, Drake. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, you're most of you are associated with each other one way or another, with the exception of Posey, who, Pipsqueak probably knows from catching rats.
Can I request so that I can get people's names easier, or remember their names easier, for people to go to the little cogwheel and change the display name to what you want to be called in game on Roll20?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna still be Mondo, but
No, you have to change it for every person you're playing at the time. You guys got that?
Yeah, I got that. I was about to say my character's set as Zen. That's pretty much what I'm going to go as.
Yeah. Just so I don't call you Crystal or Chicken.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that. Like for my character name.
oh, in the settings, the cog over the chat and stuff.
To the top right,
Yeah.
Oh,
and then it'll say display name. Type what you want to be called, and hit save name.
okay.
It just helps with me if I'm gonna be role playing to be like, you,
Yeah.
chicken, dude.
Or you just sitting there watching the right
Yeah.
corner, like in Twitch.
Right. That's what I'm doing. Like, and then like sometimes I'll be like, I'll look over at Twitch, just look at someone's name and be like, come on, change the scene so I can see their name. And for some reason, I don't think my chat is working on Twitch. So
Crystal, you got that about changing your
I
name
can
there?
still see
changing
you
your name?
typing in Twitch chat.
can you
Yeah.
say something?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, whether or not it will work or not is a different story.
It should. Yeah, just
Work.
Yay.
To make sure. Alright. I went there. I changed it. It's not showing up. Do I have to restart?
you shouldn't have to. Yeah, just under display name under my settings, you
Yeah.
should and then just click save name.
Oh, duh. Coffee hadn't kicked in yet, y'all.
So good.
Maybe I should switch to the mellow yellow.
Some other things some of you may have heard. I don't know if Posey would have heard this, considering she's been hanging out
Sheltered.
in the house a lot. But
Boarded up.
a lot of the kids around Folsom have reported seeing little blue people around the outskirts of town. Most of the folks in town just are chalking this up to kids are playing a prank or they've just got overactive imaginations. Kids just starting the silly little rumors. But yeah, they're talking about all sorts of blue folks. Yeah, possibly Smurfs.
There was at one time Pip tried to dye his hair blue and just did seep down and dyed them all blue, but I don't know if that's the same. We're talking about the same time.
It could be. That could be it.
Little blue Pip running around.
Little blue Pip. All right. So as I said, things have been going. Spring has come. People are warming up. They're getting the fishing fleet ready. They're planting their crops. But this particular morning, things are a little